Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our four-part series. Today, we are speaking with Elizabeth Sheils, co-founder of Rock Paper Coin. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, thanks so much for having me today.
Thank you so much for being here. We have an exciting four-part series. Today is part one, and the topic is must-have software in 2024. Before I jump in, I'm going to go ahead and tell us a little more about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am one of the co-founders over at Rock Paper Coin. And for those of you that may not know what Rock Paper Coin is, we are an online platform that processes proposals, contracts, and invoices. I was a past wedding planner on the West Coast and noticed a gap in the market for industry specific software. As we all know, the wedding and event space, there's certain things and tools that we need that need to be built for the industry. So set out to build the software with my co-founder, Nora Shields. And we are on this mission now and very passionate about adopting technology across the industry and just making sure that everybody is using the latest tools and really becoming as efficient as possible.
I love that. So, in a long story short, you all are in for a treat today. So, hope you have your notepads or your note apps ready to take some notes. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, my first question, what are some of the latest tools you're using that you think everyone should be using right now?
Yes, there are so many amazing tools out on the market, and I would love to highlight just a few of my favorites. And I do think that they are kind of like category agnostic. So whether you're a caterer, a florist, or a planner, everybody can be using these. So first off is a video recording tool. I personally love Loom. Screencastify is another one. Today, we can say goodbye to manual processes, typing out really long winded emails, typing out systems of operation and processes, say goodbye, turn to video. So now with these amazing tools, instead of sending over a really long email, you can actually pull up Loom and record a video message of yourself. You can share your screen so that way, if you're sharing something with one of your employees, like a how to access a data file or how to do something on a dashboard, you can show them while instructing them. Or if it's for a client, instead of sending a very long winded proposal, keep it short and sweet, but record it with your voice, explaining the proposal. You now get this added layer of like a personalized touch to that proposal, which will make it feel like they're sitting down with you in person and hearing it directly from you.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Loom and I would have to co-sign. It's pretty cool. I need to dig in a little more to dive into some of the stuff you just shared. I wasn't even aware it does.
Yeah, it's pretty robust. The next one that I swear I sleep better at night with is called 1Password. It's a password vault, password manager. There's also LastPass. These are vaults of passwords. So you don't have to remember passwords anymore. You store it in one ultra secure place and you remember your 1Password now for that vault. What's great about 1Password for our industry specifically, we hire a lot of contractors, whether it's somebody to manage your social media or write blogs for you. Like 1099s, we know that they are very needed in this industry. So 1Password allows you to set up a vault for your contractor where you can share passwords for the back end of your business, like any tools that they might need access to in an ultra secure way. So you don't have to text them those validation codes anymore. You don't have to share passwords over email. By setting up this folder, it really allows those contractors to then go in, and when the relationship is done, you can cut off access, change your password. 1Pass makes it really easy, and then continue on your way.
Oh, wow, that's really good to know. I knew about the password manager, but I didn't know that you could use it to actually share with clients. That's so smart.
Yes. Yeah. So whether it's a contractor, to your point, whether it's a client, if they need to share a password with you, you can set them up as a guest. It's awesome. And I swear I sleep better at night. And if a password is found on the dark web and is a vulnerable password, it will notify you to change that password. And it keeps a log of all of your past passwords too. So if you change it or if somebody on your team changes it accidentally and forgets to tell you, you can go back through and see an entire history of passwords, which I think is amazing.
Wow, that's really, really cool.
Yes. So next, let's see, I think I would go next with Boomerang for Gmail, and they have Outlook. So if you haven't heard of this, it's a browser extension that you link in with your email, and it essentially acts like a boomerang. So when you send out an email, you can pull up this little like reminder that says, if they haven't replied by a certain date, send this email back to me. Or if you want a follow-up by a certain amount of time, that way you can really highlight those important emails that are going out, and you can do more inquiry follow-ups. You can do more tracking down on outstanding, maybe proposals that you have out. It's a great way to just make sure you're not missing anything important that you've sent out that you need a little friendly reminder on.
I'm a Gmail queen, so I'm very familiar, and I live by Boomerang. So
Yes. Okay. So it's amazing. Okay. And then last, I would have to say, I'm hoping that we have all dug into AI and played around with ChatGPT. Have you had a chance to play it?
oh my gosh, I will let you go first. I have a lot to say on
Okay.
ChatGPT.
Okay, amazing. So ChatGPT, very, very powerful. And just the free version, this does not need to be a paid thing yet. Use the free version, get familiar. What I love about it is actually writing a very quick email with bullet points or a blog post with bullet points, and then feeding it into ChatGPT and giving it prompts like, please turn this into a 600, word blog. Please turn this into a email with 2 paragraphs, not changing my tone or making it friendlier. Can you add a joke at the end? You can give ChatGPT endless amounts of prompts to get it right. So I love doing the legwork so that it sounds authentic. It's in my voice, but using ChatGPT to smooth out the transitions, make it flow a little bit easier, because that's the part, at least for me, that sucks up all my time.
Oh my gosh, where do I begin? So as a marketer, it has been a game changer for everything I do. And I write emails and newsletters weekly. I do a lot of social media content, and it has literally helped with my work so much. And sometimes, like, you just have a brain freeze. You don't know what to
Yeah.
write. Like I even ask it for ideas on what to write, and it'll spit out like 20 ideas. And I'm like, oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yeah. And it's one of those, I mean, AI is this built this way, but it's a smart tool. So the more you use it and the more information you pump into it, the better it gets at pumping out responses that are more true to like your voice, your tone, your information. So even if you just need it for like one little sentence adjustment, you can actually fill in quite a bit more just to feed it more information to get better output from it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm still exploring, but one of the areas I've been really surprised by is I do this newsletter every week at my company, and it's helped me so much with the language. Like I'll tell it to write a creative sentence about something, and it
Yeah.
spits out this just amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. I'm still amazed by it.
I know, I know. I feel like there's so many areas of the business that a lot of us in the wedding space, maybe you have one employee, maybe you have two, like we're not running like hundreds of people on payroll. So we don't have big teams, but yet we're expected to do everything that a large company has, whether it's like the blogs, the social media. It's a lot to keep up with, SEO, marketing, like newsletters. It's so much. So I feel like this tool really is meant to like power small to medium sized businesses so that you can actually do everything in a more manageable way.
100% agree. 100.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can talk about that all day. So that I don't, I'm going to
Next
move on to
webinar.
my next question. How do you typically discover new tools and technologies, and are there any favorite sources or methods?
Yeah. Great question. So I think for everybody that's, tuning in and listening, I really am a firm believer, like the webinars, the summits, the conferences that we have in this industry, they are great places to start for learning about new tools. I think that what's nice about the summits and the conferences and webinars that are virtual is that they are oftentimes pulling from a lot of speakers with different backgrounds, and they're sharing tools that they're using at their organization, which can be from a florist to a planner to a venue. And so just by tuning in and listening for tools, I think then you can start to understand what tools might be better for your company specifically. part of our job at Rock Paper Coin is producing, software. And so staying up to date with the latest and greatest technology and tools is absolutely something that we feel very, very responsible for, which is why we love coming on and doing things like this and sharing some of the tools that we're starting to use. I think what's nice about for the startup from Rock Paper Coin is that we're a part of organizations with other startups, and that is through our investor network. So whether it's, there's AI startups and then there's like accounting software startups, we're getting access into so many tools that are across hundreds of industries. And then we're figuring out what should we test, what should we use for the wedding and event industry, and then what can we share. So I do a lot of my sourcing through other startups that are outside of the space, which I think really just helps us at Rock Paper Coin figure out tools for building software, but also tools to share with the industry.
I love your answer because, sometimes you expect people to give you a long list of sources, but the fact that you said listen to webinars and summits,
Yeah.
especially like I'm a visual learner. I like to listen, and watching these podcasts and whatever
Yeah.
you watch really does help me consume it much better.
Yeah. And I think it's funny when we think about our personal lives, if my neighbor hired an electrician, I don't need to go on Google and spend an hour looking for an electrician. I'm just going to ask for the referral. And so I'm just going to text her to be like, hey, can I get your electrician's phone number, whatever. And I'll book that electrician. And I think we sometimes forget to do that by simply just like listening in on the webinar, see how our friends are using it in the industry, or asking for referrals from other business owners. It's okay if you're two florists in the same market. That's okay. Everybody in this industry is very collaborative and offering referrals for software solutions. There's no competition there.
I love that. I love that. Well, my last question. How important do you think it is for individuals or organizations to stay updated with the latest tools and technologies?
Okay, I love this question. Very important, short answer. What I think is important for us to understand, as a lot of us are kind of in this millennial-ish zone, that we grew up learning as technology was learning. So we remember what life was like probably without technology. We also remember our first computers and, first phones. And technology, when it first came out, it was slow. It was moving a little bit slower. So we got to learn with it and we got to grow with it. We are now at a pace where technology is growing faster than we are able to learn. And understanding that gives us a baseline that we have to be adopting software and technology at a bare minimum. Otherwise, we're falling behind. And when we fall behind, that actually is when there's vulnerabilities from a security standpoint. So it's not that you need to be staying up with the latest and the greatest and using 500 AI tools. You need to be using something, like you need to be using a password protected, like password manager, a vault, because that is keeping you as a baseline protected as a company. So when we talk about like the latest tools and technologies, you need to understand what's the baseline for your company and adopt from there, and then just pay attention. It's growing and changing so quick. I mean, the government can't even keep up with like policies and regulation. So we have to be really mindful about just staying up to date to protect our assets, which is our business.
Absolutely. That makes complete sense to me. Well, that wraps up part one. Is there anything you would like to leave the audience with before we head out?
No, I mean, thank you so much for having me. And I would just leave with one little thought is that technology can be overwhelming, and it doesn't mean that you need to adopt 20 new tools. Start with one a month and try to adopt something new a month. See if it works for 30 days. If it doesn't, throw it out, get rid of it, stop paying that subscription fee. Try the next month to find a better tool. And then just keep your ears open and be open to new software and technologies.
Thank you for that, Elizabeth. And thank you for everyone for tuning into part one. Join us next week for part two, where we will get into ways AI can save you time and money next year.